So I just wanted to take a second to talk about the idea that 90% of success comes from just showing up. This is an idea that all of a sudden popped into my head, and it's something that I haven't been able to stop thinking about because I think it's 100% true. I think it's really easy for us to get into our own heads and to go, what if I don't have the talents? What if I don't have the skills? What if I don't have the proper prerequisites to meet any goals that are demanded of me? What if I am not able to accomplish what I have set out to do? But really, I think that the power of just showing up and being there is criminally understated. I think that being willing to take that first step and being willing to take a step into the darkness, so to speak, I think being willing to just try is so powerful. Because the thing is that for most people, just trying is a huge hurdle to overcome. To make things more concrete, let's use an example like a job interview. I've known a lot of people who are scared to apply for jobs. It's not even the job interview that they're scared of. It's the fact that they have to apply and submit their resume and they have to fill out an application. That's what they're scared of. And they talk themselves out of it, I think. They go, oh, I don't have the proper skills necessary. I'm not fit for this position, whatever. And obviously I do think that there are certain cases where like that's kind of true, you know? Like I wouldn't submit a job to be a brain surgeon because I don't have a history in medicine. So it doesn't make sense that anyone would want me to be a brain surgeon. I don't want to be a brain surgeon. If I tried to do brain surgery, I would probably end up putting a second brain into your head somehow. I don't know how, but I would figure it out. I would just make my own Frankenstein's monster, but it would be Noah's monster. It would be so cool. And unlike Frankenstein, I wouldn't abandon my monster. I would like be best friends with it. That would be so cool. But anyways, most people are scared to just show up. Most people are scared to just try. And it makes sense because, you know, there are bad results of trying sometimes. Sometimes you fail and sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes it doesn't feel good. But really, whenever people say that 90% of success is just showing up, I think that's absolutely true. I've talked about this idea before, but I don't think you can be good at doing something unless you've done it a lot. In other words, I think you get good at doing something through practice. I think that if there's a skill you're trying to learn, if there's a job that you're trying to do, if there is someone you're trying to date, then you're gonna suck at it at first. But I think that if you just show up, then usually we kind of know what to do whenever we get there. Going back to the idea of a job interview, how many people are scared and nervous leading up to job interviews, but then you actually get into the interview and you're completely fine? That's how I am. Consistently across time, I have always stressed out before interviews or before important meetings or dates or whatever, and then I get there and then it's fine. In other words, I show up and then things kind of take care of themselves. A great example of this is making YouTube videos. I think that idea that 90% of success is just showing up applies 100% to YouTube. I know several people who want to create YouTube channels, but they're so scared of like making a mistake or something like that. They're so scared of uploading their first video and having no one watch it. And you know what? That's exactly what will happen. No one will watch your first video. And no one will watch your second, no one will watch your third unless you get lucky. And that's not me trying to discourage anyone, that's just kind of the way it goes, honestly. And I think that in order to be successful, you have to make a lot of videos, and a lot of those videos won't be remembered by anyone. At the time of recording, I've published, I think, 76 videos on my YouTube channel, and realistically, there are only a few that people actually love. And that doesn't mean that the other ones are bad. You know, I don't think that I've done anything on my channel that is outright terrible or unwatchable or anything like that. But rather, sometimes people resonate with certain things and they don't resonate with others, and that's okay, and that's just the way the game works. But in this scenario, whenever I say that 90% of success comes from just showing up, what I mean is that if I weren't making videos every week, if I weren't doing it regularly, then I wouldn't have made any of the videos that people actually like. 90% of success comes from just showing up doesn't mean you will be successful 90% of the time. By my definition, 90% of my videos are not hits. In fact, most of my videos are just kind of good, you know, and that's cool. It's really cool that anyone watches my stuff, so thank you. But most of my videos don't do huge numbers, and that's just the way it is. But the thing is that the videos that actually do big numbers wouldn't have been made if I hadn't been showing up regularly. If I didn't set a goal for myself to consistently make videos, then I wouldn't have made any of the videos that have actually taken off. Some people try to have a perfect videography or discography or a perfect selection of books that they've written. Some people try to keep their track record and their resumes perfectly clean and acceptable and beautiful. Some people struggle with the fact that not everything you do will be a major hit. But again, 90% of success comes from just showing up. 90% of success, I think, just comes from sitting down at your desk and doing the work. And it's not fun and it's not glamorous, and you don't know what work will take off, but the work that does take off will be done during that period. And of course, whenever I'm referring to the videos that aren't hits and then the ones that are, and how most videos are not hits, this is all kind of me talking about the Pareto principle without naming it. Until now, I just named it now. So yeah, the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. Basically the idea behind that is that 80% of the success, 80% of the results come from 20% of the work. And sometimes the number is more extreme than that. Sometimes 80% of the results come from 10% of the work or 5% of the work or something like that. And the Pareto principle is just kind of a law that's observed in nature. But yeah, 90% of success comes from just showing up. I think it's important to be skilled. I think that talent can help. But really, I think that if you're just willing to show up and try, I think you will get farther than most people who are naturally gifted or talented or however you want to put it. If you just show up and try, then I think that through practice, you will become great at the things that you are spending time on. Every video I've ever made has just been the result of me trying. Like I said, most videos of mine aren't hits. Most videos of mine aren't going to be remembered. And that's the way it is with everything and anyone who makes stuff. Most songs by most bands aren't going to be remembered. I love Metallica, for instance. I know they suck, but I still love them. Metallica has been a band for over 40 years. They've recorded like over 11 studio albums, and whenever they play live, there are only a selection of about 20 or 30 songs that they choose from, sometimes 40. And the overwhelming majority of their music that they play live is from their first 5 records from the 80s or early 90s. Most of the stuff they recorded after 1991 doesn't get played or touched at all. And that's fine, because most of their stuff isn't as good as the stuff off the first 5 albums, but that's the thing, is most of it is kind of forgotten about. 90% of success comes from just working day in and day out and just showing up, but I don't think, like I said, that means that 90% of your work will be successful. I don't think that means that 90% of your work will be a major hit. But all in all, I don't think you can accomplish something unless you actually try. So, I guess that's where we'll end it. I didn't intend to film a video right now. I'm actually trying to go to the gym. But anyways, thank you for watching. Have a nice night, and goodbye.